This house here is over in the New Brighton area. It was severely damaged in the quakes and has been slated for demolition. This textured board, up until the late 80s, was also made of asbestos. Strictly speaking, it's called asbestos cement board, and the asbestos is incorporated in a stable matrix within it. To the layman, any asbestos is something that looks grey, and it's a board, and it looks a bit like cement. That's what the majority of people see. But there's more to it than that, with the way it's concealed in buildings, concealed in stipples on ceilings, in behind fireplaces, log burners, things like that. This one has also been sampled and it has got no asbestos in it. However, if you've got one that is a little bit narrower, it's quite likely the older one which will contain asbestos. The dangerous element of asbestos is simply breathing it in. If it's left alone and undisturbed, and you can't be breathing in the fibres, there isn't a problem. It's when you start disturbing it and breathing in the fibres, that's when the collision starts. This material has got 2 or 3 good solid coats of paint on it. It's not likely to produce any fibres blowing around in the air or anything like that. That comes about when you get these raw edges that have been broken. Probably somebody's gone through here with a vehicle that's a little bit high. The moment you cut into it, say to change that light and put it down over here, you're exposing yourself to asbestos dust and fibres. There is absolutely no safe level of exposure. 1 fibre could be all it takes. The tiny little fibres are like fish hooks. They will attach themselves to the lining of your lungs and your airways and burrow in. Then they form a plaque or an ulcer. The time of onset from exposure to anything that can be medically picked up is 25 to 35 years. But if you've got those little plaques and little ulcers eating away in your lungs and your airways, it'll cause one of 2 things, either mesothelioma or asbestosis, and it will kill you. And if you're only 12 or only 35 when it happens, you're not going to live a great long time. This particular board up here is asbestos cement. We don't have to rely on my judgment either. It has been sampled and analysed. So that's asbestos and it needs to be removed. This part over here has also been analysed and is not asbestos containing material. Most homeowners, the only way they're going to find out if there's asbestos in that or in that, which look identical, is by having them sampled. If you were going to put exterior lights or vents for a kitchen or anything like that onto it, your best bet is to get it analysed, or we can just come and cut the hole for you wearing the correct gear and then seal the hole around its edges. We use these with filters on them so that we're breathing air that isn't contaminated with fibres. These filters are 99.995% efficient. They have a pre-filter that even stops most of the crap getting into these filters in the first place. 50-cent mask from the hardware shop, you might as well throw it over your shoulder. Over at Bishopdale this time, possibly late 70s, early 80s house. This green wall here, that product has been proven time and time again on sampling to be asbestos. If it's as well painted and preserved as this one is, there is nothing wrong with it. However, if you want to cut holes in it or remove panels, please ring us. We can do it safely for you without any risk to your house or your family. There are various places that may contain asbestos. The most obvious one in houses built or renovated between 1940 and, as I've discovered, 1994 to 5 is in stipple ceilings. As you can see from the patch on the ceiling, that's where the sample was taken for analysis. We'll be removing this one. But also in this house we have another fairly common asbestos occurrence, which is in the vinyl on the floor. The homeowner is a carpet layer and vinyl layer, and he attended a site safe meeting where the piece of vinyl that was shown as an asbestos containing vinyl, he remembers being underneath this layer that's on top of the floor now. So he came home and looked in his cupboard and managed to find the original vinyl underneath this top new layer that he'd put down. This is the original vinyl that contains the asbestos. Underneath that tape is where it was cut out to do a sample. We're going to have to lift all this flooring that does not contain asbestos and then completely remove this from the entire 37 square metres of kitchen, dining, laundry and bathroom. But you can avoid the aggressive exposure in your own home with a little bit of common sense, thinking, what's that up there? Should I get it tested before I go and belt into it? The process of removal generally starts by somebody ringing up and saying, I think I might have asbestos in my lounge ceiling, kitchen wall, vinyl floor, wherever they think it might be. I then go out to the site and take a sample of it, measure up the area affected so I can give them a quote if the sample comes back positive, and then wish them goodbye, and they hope that they haven't going to get a positive sample. After a sample's taken and it goes to an IANZ accredited laboratory, they will look at it through very high powered microscopes and find asbestos if it's in it. Then they will give you a report, and the removal can be taken from there, or the homeowner can get a yahoo that they've got no asbestos in it anyway. If it turns out it's positive, the next thing is that people receive a quote, and they accept the quote, we go to do the job. And we set a date for it. You'll be required to move entirely out of your house, even if we're only doing your kitchen. We will put signage on the front of your property, barrier tape, close the gates, put temporary fencing up if we have to. Then the room or rooms concerned will have polythene, black 250 micron black polythene, run from just under the ceiling, down the wall, across the floor, back up the other side. Everything, windows, cupboards in the room, doorways, everything is sealed up. At the end of the process, when the ceiling's either scraped or pulled down entirely, everything's bagged up, cleaned up, the floor and the plastic floor is cleaned up, then it's all left in place, and we ring up an IANZ laboratory once again, who come in to do clearance monitoring. And there has to be below 0.01 fibres per 100 millilitres of air over the 4-hour period to get a pass. It's as simple as that.